in the committee won't get caught up in what the social media and a lot of people who are fringe fans get caught up in, which is wins. They had 11 wins. They must be good. Who did they beat? I think is much more important than how many wins you have. That's old school way of approaching it. Has nothing, Indiana having 11 wins and beating nobody, that doesn't mean they're one of the 12 best teams. Remember, I know Lyndon, I'm not.
Who cares about wins?
Yes. The Tiny Hat CEO has returned to the Renegade Roast. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to everybody on Twitter, because I know y'all gonna be in my DMs today. Y'all already been in my DMs asking me questions. Shout out to everybody who gonna watch this a little bit later on, because I know when y'all catch the show, we see it, and y'all stay in my DMs as well. And of course, shout out to my beautiful co-host, the FSU Harley Quinn. What is going on, Jen?
Hello. How are you?
That's good. Listen, I'm doing fantastic. You said, all right, see, now we're going back. Now you all festive. Is that Christmas green you got on right there?
It is. I couldn't get the lighting to work to show that it was green, but it is green, guys. It's green.
Okay. Yeah, see, look at that little contrast right there. Listen, I'll be watching Ink Master, all right? So I'll be watching Ink Master, and they're like, the contrast between colors. Well, your shoulder meat being out with that contrast of that green, girl.
Thank you.
As always. And of course,
thank you, love.
We got the big dog himself, the best producer in the game. What up, G?
We in here. I'm gonna stay the whole time. Like, I really love sitting back and watching you guys just roast. But I told Jen I'd jump on here with her the other day. It's kind of like a holiday thing. She's going to be doing Christmas Eve. Of course, Tiny Hat and Jen both have beautiful families and little ones running all over. Me and Deshaun may do a little something tomorrow. But with all this stuff, I think all three of us had viral tweets, giving the business to Kirk Herbstreit. I think mine was something like, "This is insanity. ESPN is dead." It's pretty insane to listen to the intro. Wins don't matter. And Jen has went on her timeline. You went off. Everybody's went off. Lane Kiffin, like he's on a milk box missing. You got to find him somewhere.
Pump the brakes, baby. We about to get into all that. First off, this boy George got on the Bear Bryant checkered pattern right now with the garnet and gold on it. Look at this man. Looking like he ain't been to church in forever, but he showed up because it's Easter Sunday out here. I see you, boy. That's what's up. We know what we're here for.
Mm-hmm.
All right? We already know what this is about to be. The rundown is very simple. We about to do absolute work on these people at ESECPN, and we can go ahead and start it off with what we saw right there. Mr. Kirk Herbstreit himself. All right? That dude, that is the whiner in chief. I call myself the secretary of the Department of Lies of Florida State, because I'm lying all off season. I'm gonna keep lying. All right. But Kirk Herbstreit, that guy is on a completely different level when it comes to just hypocrisy, backtracking, complete 180s on everything. It is absolutely hilarious. So y'all all heard it at the beginning. This man legitimately said he doesn't want to hear about wins. He said, "Oh, they got 11 wins. I don't want to hear about wins." And I can only think about one thing when I heard him say that, right? And the one thing that I heard was, "You play to win the game." Hello? You play to win the game. And this man got on national TV and said it with his whole chest. "I don't want to hear about wins." That's what he said.
Or losses.
That man said he don't want to hear about wins and loss. Like, this makes zero sense. So then what the fuck are we doing? If we don't care about wins? And you know, before we even get it, when you first heard him say that, when that first popped up on y'all, what did y'all think? Because my thoughts is very simple. But what did y'all think when y'all first heard him come off the top of his head with that bullshit?
I was surprised it took them just a year to do it. I thought they would take a year off. I didn't think they would start sucking off on the SEC the first year after what they did last year. I really didn't. I thought they would at least give it a year. I really did. But unfortunately for them, the SEC was so mid all year, they had to. They didn't have a choice. And again, I'm only going to say this once. I put it on my timeline. All they want Like, all we need to do is put only SEC teams in so these journalists don't have to pay for porn anymore. That's what I said. I said what I said. It's just the truth. Let's save them some money and just put only SEC teams in because that's all they want. That's literally all they want. You cannot tell me anything otherwise. You can't.
G.
It's a joke, man. When I first saw it, I was like, of course. Even in the face of the exact same thing, even worse, the highest seed, the lowest, the ability to stand there with the score behind you in giant letters for your green screen. Tennessee gets blown out by Ohio State. Okay. The lowest seed of all the home seeds blows out the highest seed of all the road seeds. Okay. And yet it's still about Indiana and their 11 wins and SMU and their 11 wins. It's like, dude, how can you be more of a shield? But then for a second, I saw my tweet start to take off and I thought about it. And you nailed it. It took a year, but the rest of the country is on board. If you're not an SEC dictator, you're on board with fuck Kirk Herbstreit. And I mean, it's across the board. Like, it's obvious. As my dog is going nuts. She's just, damn it, what he did to his dog. So yeah, it's just an unbelievable ability to just chill for a company, which it's just nuts. Like, if the SEC just thinks that they're the only wins that matter, you can lose 4 games, but if you beat Alabama, that means you get in. Well, guess what? Then why do you even want the other conferences to come? Just hold your own thing, and you can claim the SEC as the champion. Because if we need 6 fucking SEC teams in the playoff, like, what's the point? And he knows that. But it's the more teams that the SEC gets in, the more money for ESPN. They think the better viewers, which is somewhat true. But it's like, what's the whole point of a playoff? So I just think he did a good job of the rest of the country waking up and seeing, oh shit, it's not just Florida State. The Big 12, like, they're going to try and push us completely out. It's like, why aren't you shocked that the 12 got blown out, or the 5? Yeah, the 12 got blown out by the 5. But you're not shocked that the fucking 8 got blown out by the 7. It doesn't make sense. The 12 seed is supposed to lose by that much. The 11 seed is supposed to lose by that much. The seeding thing is common sense, and that's what some people would try to take his part. But no, that seeding is not the message of that video. We can talk seeding all day.
Right. And see, you know what? You touched on something that I wanted to get into, because when I first heard it, I was like, oh wow, so he really is coming out here saying the quiet part out loud. They tried to dance around that shit all last year. And all we heard after they snubbed us, right, was 63-3. Get out there on the field and prove that the committee got it wrong, right? And what did we as Florida State fans say? We said, what's the fucking point? Why would we tell these kids who went out there for 13 straight games, won every game in front of them, went out there and legitimately laid it out on the field, even when their leader went down? Every single one of them players rallied together, came together, and they overcame the fact that they had a backup and then a true freshman quarterback starting his first game in an ACC title game against a top 15 ranked team. And he took the dub. They got the dub. They did everything that you would ask a team to do. And then you turned around and you said, nope, not good enough, right? And everybody in college football said 63-3. To this day, they still say 63-3. Well, where the fuck the 63-3ers at right now? Huh? Where they at? Where the 63-3ers at right now? That's what I'm
sitting at home on their couch, sucking off the 42 and 17ers.
Every single one of y'all. Where y'all at 63-3 squad? Because I tell you this right now, when I've been lighting shit up on the timeline, I don't see none of y'all. All of that 63-3 talk is going out the window now. Shames fans, y'all real big on 63-3. And then your ass got left out for SMU and Clemson and the rest of them squads. And now 63-3 don't matter. We don't hear it no more. All of you SEC squads, where your 63-3s at? Where they at? Because they did the same shit that we told you they was going to do. ESPN don't give a damn. And then what did they do for y'all? And this is the best part about it to me. All of these SEC schools that are pissed off that they didn't get in, most notably South Carolina, Ole Miss, and Alabama, right? What we just saw was one of the teams that each one of y'all sits here and points to as being one of the best teams. It's a great ranked win. It's a tough squad. It's a team that you don't want to play week in and week out. They got their asses dragged across some asphalt. Shout out to my boy on the timeline in the group chat. I mean, not even regular smooth asphalt. It's that country road, dirty ass, big, heavy, rocky ass asphalt. They got dragged. Knoxville, what happened? Where you at, Rocky Top? All y'all went and packed on all of that orange and that yellow and that white or whatever the fuck them colors are, and y'all went up there and got beat the fuck down. And it was fantastic. We saw all the little videos that they had before the game. Ohio State's doing the walk. They got them with their little Beats pills playing the Rocky Top song. They're out there doing all of this other mess. They're out there bouncing around. That's what they were doing. Oh, we taking over the shoe. We taking over the shoe. Isn't that we heard? Isn't that what we heard?
Yeah.
They were taking over the shoe. And guess what? Y'all had a shitload of fans up there. And all of them people went up there and sat their ass in that cold, and they got a real hard dose of reality that you not as good as you thought you were. That shield can only protect your sorry ass but so much. You hide behind that raggedy ass schedule. And G, you just said something right there, and I definitely want to harp on this point. You said if they just want all of the SEC schools, why don't they have a tournament and then just say that the SEC is the only thing that matters? They already got that tournament. It's called the SEC Conference. They got conference play. And guess what? Alabama, you lost 2 of them games. Or did they lose 3 of them games? They lost 3 of them games, right? Okay. Oh, Ole Miss, how many of them games did you lose? Oh, okay. South Carolina, how many of them joints did you lose? So what you telling me is when you had the conference tournament to see who was the best of the best, right? We watched a Big 12 squad walk into your conference and drag their nuts all across your baby furniture. That's what we saw. Texas went into your conference. They went in the bathroom. They took a shower. They put on your wife's silk robe, right? They came up out of there and they skeeted all over your wife's decorative towels that she got hanging in the bathroom. And then they wiped they shit off and used your baby's onesie as a nut rag. That's what Texas did all season long until Georgia knocked them off in the final game. That's what they did. That's what they did. And then we watched one of the rest of the programs that you got that you used to hide behind that shield, tough SEC competition, got dragged by an Ohio State team that was average at best all season long. That Ohio State team wasn't playing like that yesterday. Y'all got everybody now looking at Ohio State saying, if this is the Ohio State team that we thought we were going to be getting, this is the team we thought we were going to see all season long. And they did that against one of your best teams. And now you want to sit here and have your shill going out here on TV and telling us that the SEC, this, that, and the third. It is absolutely laughable, the bullshit that we seeing coming out of ESPN. Feinbaum himself and him and his crypt keeper looking ass couldn't even get up there with a straight face and say the normal bullshit he normally say. He can get his ass the fuck up out of here too. It don't make no damn sense. But I do want to touch on something since we're talking about Herbstreit. All right. Somebody brought this up on the timeline. So I want to make sure I get it right because back in 2017, was it 2017? Was it 2017?
Yeah, I think so.
So back in 2017, if I recall correctly, they put in an 11-1 Alabama team over a 10-2 Ohio State team. A 10-2 Ohio State team that had better wins than Alabama. And what he said was this, and I want to get his words right. So let me quote this here for you. He said, quote, "The losses matter." I don't even want to read the rest of that shit. He said, quote, "The losses matter. To lose the way Ohio State lost to Iowa, it sent a message that the committee couldn't forget." End quote. Now, I don't need to get into what Booger McFarland and Jesse Palmer punk ass has said after that, right? But Kirk Herbstreit himself in 2017 said, "The losses matter. To lose the way Ohio State lost to Iowa, it sent a message the committee couldn't forget."
The blatant contradictions. They move. That's all they do is move the goalpost to spin the narrative, all within the same conversation. You just pointed that one out. It's opposite now. Oh, well, now the wins don't matter. It's all about, well, did you beat somebody? It's the same thing when they want to talk about, oh, Indiana had no ranked wins. Oh, same thing for Texas, but we're not going to talk about that. They lost to the ranked team they played twice. You know, the same thing with Tennessee, the contradiction there. There's always a contradiction. It's just whatever they can spin. And it's just the ability to just ignore it and never bring it up. Like anybody that's watching college football was like, oh, well, the SEC dropped an egg there. But no, the quarterback with Jordan Travis last year. What's UGA situation this year? Same thing. Backup quarterback. but they're gritty and tough. And when that happens, you get an identity. So you got to watch out for UGA in the playoff now. It's like, it's just the blatant hypocrisy. And I'm sorry, I'll shut up.
Well, the 70 yards and an interception was a gritty win for that backup quarterback. Now, George, you be nice, okay? 70 yards and a gritty win. My favorite part of the whole weekend was that the whole media got their marching orders. Every headline was Notre Dame dominates Indiana. And I don't want to hear anybody fucking coming at me and talking about that bullshit touchdown at the end and being like, blah, 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 blah. It doesn't. Y'all can sit here and say that they dominated. Guess who else dominated in their conference game when they got left out? They didn't allow like a top scoring offense score a goddamn touchdown. They won by 10, and yet everybody's like, they barely won. And guess what? That was the biggest domination of a defense of a game. And don't come at me with Notre Dame with their all-white defensive line. I don't want to fucking hear this anymore. Stop it. Stop it. Playing Indiana, who's nothing. Playing an Indiana team that's nothing but a bunch of white guys on a team either. I don't want to hear this anymore. Again, this is where I'm going with this. They all got their same marching orders. Every goddamn headline from Fox to ESPN to Hayes Fawcett, Notre Dame dominates Indiana. Should Indiana been allowed in? Get the hell out of here. You know what? I saw a team win by double digits with a third stringer, and you guys said, oh my God, what an ugly game. You know what's an ugly game? Is to watch Notre Dame choke again. That's going to be an ugly game, and it's probably going to happen in a couple of days. You know it, I know it, and Notre Dame fucking knows it.
Don't forget Penn State too. Penn State too.
By the way, thankful to Penn State. I'm so glad you ran SMU out of your building because they had no business in there either. The fact that the ACC sits there and puts these posts out for those losers too, I can't stand you. They can all fuck up. I've even had people say, I can't believe an ACC football account hasn't blocked you. By the way, me either. You and me both, guys. I can't believe it either. But here we are. I just cannot stand what I've seen. And the fact that all these MFers got on TV after SMU got dismantled, thank you for that. Clemson, by the way, was the only team that put up a fight.
The only one.
Surprising. And Texas, that's the only team Texas has beaten is Clemson, who basically lucked their way into the playoff. And now everybody's sucking off Texas, acting like they did something big. No. They beat a team they should have beaten and allowed them to stay in the game in the fourth quarter, something Penn State didn't have to do, by the way, who you guys have all said sucked. And if I hear one more person about this Ohio State, now all of a sudden, oh, look, Ohio State, they're going to win the national championship. That's the best team we've ever seen. Those same fuckers last week, what are they going to do when Ryan Day loses to Tennessee? Who are they going to hire? That's all they were doing all week.
Yep.
I mean, look at Ohio State's schedule. They don't play the gauntlet Tennessee does. We think Tennessee's going to roll in there and beat them. And now all of a sudden, Ohio State's world beaters because that's the SEC teat that they got to suck off now because their team that they all claimed was going to win got rolled. And I don't mean rolled. They didn't even put any lube on it. They just took them out and basically put them in a shed and said, you know, have a good night, left them for dead on a mattress, and they may go back later for seconds. That's how it was.
Spot on.
That was awful.
Dude, listen, it was hilarious to me because when you look at it, they want to hide behind the shield so much. And we all can see it. We tried to tell everybody this last year. Didn't matter who it was. We tried to tell you all this last year. Encyclopedia with the $5 super chat. Shout out to you. Says the best part of this season is laughing at the same teams that were laughing at us the past year. The ACC and Moral Gables, nobodies. And you're spot on because that's exactly where I'm about to go with this. We told them all last year. The only thing they want to do with any of these invitationals, as G likes to point out to me all the time, with any of these invitations, this ain't no fucking playoff. These are invitationals. The only thing that they want to do is they want to see big name brands playing other big name brands. And it has to be the specific name brands that they like. that get that type of autonomy there. That's what it is. They don't give a damn if it's a 4-loss Alabama, a 5-loss Alabama. They wouldn't care. They would still argue that a 5-loss Alabama or a 4-loss Alabama should be in there over a 1-loss Indiana, over a 1-loss Illinois, over a 1-loss Wake Forest, even though they're trash and they'll never happen, over a 1-loss NC State. It doesn't matter who it is. They just want to see the big name brand schools that they have been slurping for the past 15, 20 years. They want those teams in there, right? But I laugh about this whole thing because I saw David Hale. I want to touch on this real quick because David Hale said something the best. If you're not following him on Twitter, he does the research. He's hilarious. Go look at David Hale's Twitter page. But he said this. He said, was curious, so I looked this up. To qualify for the playoff, apparently, you need multiple top 25 wins, a top 30 strength of schedule, and 3 or fewer losses. This is apparently what they want, right? So he says, so your 12-team playoff for this year. So if you go by those metrics, right? Multiple top 25 wins, a top 30 strength of schedule, and 3 or fewer losses. Here are the 12 teams that you would get in the playoff right now: Oregon, Ohio State, Alabama, South Carolina, Ole Miss, and Georgia. That is it. So that means that you would have no Texas, no Penn State, and no Notre Dame, the 3 schools that throttled the fuck out of everybody that they played this weekend. So even if we go by your raggedy ass fucking metrics that you're looking at, that you want us to go by, right? 3 of the teams don't even qualify for the metrics that you want to put out here. And those 3 teams throttled everybody that they played, right?
Think like a ranked win knocks out a loss. Every ranked win you get knocks a loss off your schedule. I guess that's how they see it.
Right. That's exactly what it is.
And here's another contradiction. When FSU beats number 5 LSU, but they're unranked at the end of the year because they got 3 losses, one of which was FSU. Oh, it's not a ranked win. But when it's opposite, oh, they were ranked when they beat them. It's like the contradiction.
But it's a common opponent with Alabama. You know, I mean, that's what they said. Alabama beat LSU. Very, I mean, wasn't it at LSU, I believe?
As a matter of fact, we beat them once in New Orleans.
No, I'm talking about Alabama. So the same year that, Alabama got their Make-A-Wish gift last year.
Yep.
They used the LSU game because I think it was at LSU. However, when Florida State played them, it was like, well, they're not really ranked anymore. And that's not the same. Even though Florida State beat them worse and beat them with a healthy Jaden Daniels, unlike Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
They had a whole spring season and a whole off season to prepare for that Florida State squad. And Florida State put the pause on them boys.
Over the lowest point total of the year.
Yep, and hell, Jaden Daniels, that was the worst Jaden Daniels had looked all season long.
Yep.
Even when he had his Heisman Trophy candidate game against one of their big bad SEC squads in Florida, but when he went up against an ACC school, a team that's from a squad that's from one of the lower tier conferences, as they like to point out all the time, he couldn't do a damn thing. That defense was in his ass. That offense was going up and down the field. Keon Coleman had the entire world looking at him like he was the greatest thing since Jerry Rice out here, because he was doing absolute work against that big, bad, vaunted SEC defense. First game of the season with months to prepare. Not only did they have months to prepare, but they also had a full year worth of time to think about that ass whooping that we put on them the year before. That's what we saw. So they can go kick rocks with all of this bullshit. Because the other thing that I wanted to touch on is that if we really want to look at it, right, all of this shit with the playoff was all predicated on there being 5 power conferences. So you would have the 5 automatic bids, and then the rest would be the people who slotted in there, right? That's what you would have. Well, the Big 12 don't exist no more. So who would have won the Big 12 this year?
The Pac-12.
No. I'm sorry, the Big 12. So who would have won the Big 12 this year? Texas.
Oh yeah.
If they were still there. Who would have won the Pac-12?
Oregon.
Right?
Yep.
Oregon. Okay. Who wins your Big 10? Ohio State probably, or Penn State, one of them two. And then your SEC champion is probably Georgia. Right? So, and then your ACC champion was Clemson. So even if you look at it that way, the best team in the country right now is the Pac-12 school. The second best team in the country by all of the metrics that they want to go by is probably the Big 12 school that is now in the SEC. That's what they're all saying right now. So I'm laughing about this hilarious. I'm laughing about this entire thing because
Well, there's magical water that fucking sprinkles down once you enter one of those conferences that just makes you a step above, a cut above.
right.
You know, I mean, you just got to understand that shit. Even if you play two of them out of conference and beat them and all this stuff, none of that matters. If you're in there, that's when Vandy becomes fucking, you know, even though they lose to Alcorn State, that's a quality loss for Bama.
Wait, hold on,
Were
hold on.
y'all watching the end of the Ohio State Tennessee game when fucking Kirk Herbstreit was talking about how competitive Vandy is?
Right.
I swear to God, that was on there. That was in the commentary. I mean, Vandy's competitive and this and I was waiting on his ass to say Mississippi State, and I was gonna fall out of my seat. Like, I'm not kidding. He didn't, thank God. But I mean, Vandy is competitive, is what that toad who looks like someone put a hose in his mouth and left it on. I don't know what's going on with Kirk. Maybe something at home. I don't know. Allegedly, whatever. But something's wrong with him, and his public meltdown has been amazing, and it's continued.
Who played Georgia tougher than Georgia Tech all year? It's like, oh, well, Kentucky beat Louisville or Ole Miss, but they're tough. Kentucky's tough every year. Well, I watched Louisville blow them the fuck out. So it's like, it's completely subjective. The playoffs are supposed to be objective. Okay, the point of a playoff is you have all these divisions that play each other, and you get to see the best from everyone. Sometimes the best from this division is going to smoke the shit out of the guy in the other division. Yeah, but the NFC still, or NFC South, whatever, they still get their team in. You don't get to say, oh, well, I think the NFC North is going to win, so we're not going to put those in. Like, it's insanity. It just takes away the whole point of it. I'm sorry.
Shout out to the Daily Chop in the chat. He said Jaden Daniels has looked better in the NFL than he looked in the 2 games against us.
That's true.
Hey, that's real talk. That's real talk. Jaden Daniels has looked better in NFL games than he did against Florida State, and that's just real
front,
talk.
Man. That we didn't realize how good it was until it's gone. But I mean, Fisk next to Verse, next to Lovett, next to Payton when he was in that role, like it was.
I'm telling you, and see, I'm gonna touch on that again because all we're seeing right now is that what they did to that 2023 Florida State team is a bigger travesty than even us Florida State fans who are pissed off. It's a bigger travesty than we all give it credit for, because what they told us last year was the games on the field don't matter. And when we came out here and said this over and over and over, the games don't matter anymore. It only matters about who they want to see in these games. Everybody told us to shut the fuck up. Everybody told us to quit whining. Everybody says 63-3. And now here we are 12 months later, where what the committee did is what you would want the committee to do. They said, you go out there on the field, you play the games. We then slot the conference champions get in, and then we take the teams who have won on the field and we put them in place. If you have egregious losses like Alabama, like Miami, like Ole Miss, like South Carolina, you don't get the benefit of the doubt over these teams like an SMU and an Indiana who only have their one loss come up against a team in a championship game. You don't get credit over those guys. Those dudes handled business, and it's not their fault that their one loss, that one negative data point, comes during a week where you are not playing. That's not fair to them. They deserve to be in. They did exactly what you would expect them to do. And now we got Kirk Herbstreit puss ass out here going on TV mad as hell because his balls was frozen to his inner thigh, right? He ain't even got balls no more. Them motherfuckers sucked up into his body. They turned into ovaries in that game. Him and Fowler up there complaining about how cold it was. Talking about I guess heaters weren't in the budget. Shut your whining asses up. You standing up there in $2,000 3/4 dusters right now.
Tennessee comeback, the crawlback of Tennessee. They were just amazing. Look, this whole thing, and by the way, I'm not an Ohio State fan. They're about to make me one because I don't understand what's going on here. The sucking off of Oregon that's never won a goddamn thing in their life is amazing. And the fact that they were doing that to Tennessee is just I don't have the words. Look at Tennessee. Look at their performance tonight. Their quarterback and these fans, and I have never. Meanwhile, they're losing worse than SMU at Penn State. And by the way, y'all said, I mean, Penn State was awful too. So what are we doing here? What are you doing?
Mhm.
I mean, Penn State, at least SMU's quarterback is the reason they lost. That guy couldn't, I've never seen a worse quarterback in my life. By
That
the
shit was
way,
terrible.
thank God SMU lost like that. I was never
Mob
happier.
hemmed him up the night before or something because he was passing it to the other team all day
I
long.
loved
Holy
it.
shit.
I loved it. I loved it. I
And
loved
listen,
every minute of it.
our true freshman quarterback didn't even look that bad last season. I don't even want to hear nothing out of SMU fans.
That
Bro.
boy, those lights in his eyes was like, what is going on? And SMU fans want to talk about, we are such a big fan base, blah, blah, blah. They've never seen anything like what they saw. And they've never been cold, apparently, in their life.
They
And
left
their
after the
quarterback
first
is
quarter.
ass.
And Tennessee fans was out after the first quarter out there doing interviews. Man, we're down 21-0. It's cold. We're going home. We're just
Boy,
disappointed.
if you don't think there
That
was some
poor dog.
sister wives getting beaten in a trailer on Saturday night, I don't know what to tell you, because they were. They were getting their ass kicked. Every last one of them. All the cousins / brothers, whatever they are, I don't know, were just beating the hell out of their old ladies. You know it, and I know it. Stop laughing.
I ain't say it, bro. Listen, Jen out here wilding. She's like, Notre Dame got too many white dudes on the defensive line, and people out here getting their ass whooped in trailers. Yo, you out here wilding tonight. But you spot on. You spot on. It's hilarious.
Hold on, Tiny Hat. What was that tweet? Do you remember what you said about the guys with their shirts off?
Oh,
that one went viral too. You said something pregame and it ended up coming true.
That was who, me?
I know. Jen said it. I thought.
No, Jen said some shit like,
I did it after the game. It was
it's funny. It was nice of them to take their shirts off before getting bent over.
Yes,
at the same time, I said it was really. I said it was smart of them to go ahead and remove half their clothes in order to save time before they got bent over. And oh look, we got a Tennessee fan. He showed up. What a loser. And Clay Travis actually responded and said, "Okay, that was well done. I can't."
Yo, Kerry Carson. Yeah, that's your name. Yo, let me ask you a question. Like, when you was whooping your wife ass after that game, did you use a mop handle, like a broke off mop stick, or did you go outside to get a tire iron? Is she still in your basement, or did you like handle the whole deed and now she's in a freezer somewhere?
Or does your grandma / aunt tell you to stop beating her at some point? Just
like,
let us know.
Get your shit right.
Let us
know.
See,
it's hilarious to me. And this is the problem. This is the problem I have right here. We're not even talking about the games right now. We're talking about the bullshit surrounding the games. The games are what matters. The games are what matters. Right?
Apparently they don't.
What was the biggest story of the weekend? Okay. You've got these games a month after normal college football ends. It's freezing. All these kids that aren't used to it, and they're in road games with the wind whipping and stuff. The home games were home teams all blew them out. That's the big story. That hey, maybe having the higher seed as these home teams doesn't lend itself to a competitive game into the end of December. Maybe it should be a bowl game. And then you give a team a chance on a neutral field. But no, that's not what Kirk wants to talk about. He just wants to shit on Indiana and SMU and their 11 wins and call them out by name with literally refusing to acknowledge Tennessee. It's like, it's in his contract. He can't say something negative about Tennessee. It's just positive stuff about Ohio State, shit on Indiana, shit on SMU, which is crazy.
But see, you know what's wild about that? Because even that is still the shit surrounding the games. Because the number one story coming out of the weekend should be the fact that Ohio State actually looks like the Ohio State that we thought we were going to see. They actually went out there and handled business. That's what should be the number one story. But it's not that. It's everybody out here bitching about all of this other shit. And it's everybody bitching finally on this side of the line, because this is what we told them. We told y'all last year, all they did by leaving Florida State out, an undefeated conference champion, is they told you that the regular season games don't matter. And then what did they do this year? They said, no, we're going to make sure that the regular season games matter. And now you got all of these SEC fans all of the SEC media heads, all of the ESPN media analysts are up here pissed off because the committee said the games on the field matter. That's what they did. I saw Encyclopedia earlier. I was going to tell you to highlight this one, but he said this right here is the same thing that they've done this to Florida State twice. They've done this to Florida State twice. They changed the rules of the game to fuck Florida State over, and we're always the catalyst for some bullshit like this. These Shames fans are constantly out here talking about how the logo hold weight, the logo hold weight. No, Florida State logo is what holds weight, because in 2014 is when they came up with Jen's favorite stat, that bullshit game control bullshit, right? And now in 2023, it's, well, you not only have to win the games, but you got to be healthy in order for you to be able to win, to get
depending on
who you are. Right.
That's the same narrative all 3 years that Florida State and Clemson won the national titles. It's like they run the narrative, he gets defeated, and they just move on. Just like Tennessee and Ohio State. They just fucking move on. It's like...
But the other thing I have to say for Miami fans is, with all this, did they belong, and who belonged here and who belonged where? You know what team they're not saying should have been in? I hear nobody on ESPN. I hear nobody going, I mean, if they had just let Miami in, it would have been a lot more competitive. You know, can you imagine? Like, seriously, how devastating. I'm sorry for your loss, guys. Like, y'all aren't even in the conversation. They got South Carolina in the conversation. They got Ole Miss. They got Ole Miss, whose coach is still missing. Have we found him yet? He's still fucking missing. He's still missing. Like, again, like, we're sitting here talking about, oh, this team should have been in, this team should have been in. But guess who they're not saying should have been in? Miami. So I'm just saying, for all the Canes people who are, 2-10, you're not even being included in the conversation. My guess is they probably have Arkansas ahead of you. Just saying.
And you know what? I'm glad you brought up the head coach of Ole Miss, because if you didn't see this, on the 21st, so a few days ago, Lane Kiffin himself, who is pissed off because his team didn't get gifted a spot into the playoffs after they lost the game they should not have lost, right? He goes out, he tweets, lost 3 of the motherfuckers. He goes out there, he says on the timeline, way to keep us on the edge of our seats, committee, ... riveting, right? So this is coming from the head coach of a squad that lost 3 games. Right?
And he did it for 3 games.
And he's
until
mad.
The 4th.
Yeah, and he's mad. He's mad because his team didn't get gifted a spot. Well, Lane Kiffin realized something that Kirk Herbstreit learned last year. All right, but Lane Kiffin realized this not on the FSU Twitter side. He learned this shit from the entirety of college football, which is he got roasted into the motherfucking dirt. They were on his ass so bad that the only thing that man has tweeted or retweeted for the last 3 days has been nothing but inspirational quotes. They got him out here retweeting like he is a scorned woman who found out her man was cheating and broke up with him. And now she's up here talking about, if you don't take me at my worst, you don't deserve me at my best. Bullshit all over the fucking timeline. That's what he's doing. You don't deserve what I'm going to become if you can't help me build to where I am. Like some bullshit like this out here. I saw one that he put up there. It said he literally went up there and retweeted some bullshit from some account called the Mindful Maven. And it said, an athlete won't judge you for working out. A millionaire won't judge you for starting a business. A musician won't judge you for trying to sing a song. It's always the people going nowhere that have something to say. I thought that was wildly hilarious, Lane Kiffin, because your sorry ass ain't go no fucking where. And you out here judging the committee for keeping your sorry asses out of the playoffs. Congratulations. You were a
He
sad
also posted his thought daughter's TikTok. Okay.
Ooh. Damn, she a thought?
Damn, I missed that. What was that? What was her at?
Oh my God.
Dang.
Y'all, and I'm not giving Tiny the link either. I guess y'all can go to Lane Kiffin. He's like, look at my daughter on TikTok. And I'm sitting here going, I would never post my child looking like that on any sort of social media.
That is a weird generational thing. Every time I fucking River, there'll be some dad with his clearly like middle school daughter.
Oh my God.
It's the thing. And it's like, dude, that's fucking That is weird. Why are you next to your
Dirty.
daughter and she's naked? Like, it's fuck. Sorry. Go ahead, Tiny. Sorry.
Look, everybody, what's the link again? Y'all, stop. Yes, he did. He posted his thought daughter on his Twitter from her like TikTok or something. Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, we about
I,
to steal something from old Lane
hey,
Kiffin too. I
I
know
ain't gonna
he
hold
hit me
you.
on that a little while ago. We can talk about that for a second. I know there's some Noel fans in here that want that.
I ain't gonna hold you. She legitimately is standing here. It looks like she has on one of those like New Year's Eve dresses. She's got a floor length fur coat, and she's bouncing back and forth. And then her mom comes dancing in there,
Stop.
and they're glazing. Her mom said, "Oh, you guys look more like."
That's not her mom.
I don't give a fuck who it is. Here's what I know. You getting your ass beat real bad on the timeline when you have to start posting family photos so people will not roast your ass into the dirt. But it's okay, Lane,
And your daughter looks like a thought.
because
Stop
they
it.
were on. She looks very nice. Leave her alone.
Stop.
Leave her alone. She got on
Would
her
you post
prom
your
dress.
daughters like that? Don't you lie to me. Don't you lie to me and start being like all nice.
Listen,
Stop it.
she got on her little homecoming dress. I'm not gonna hate on
Stop.
her. She don't deserve this ass
We're not
whooping.
doing this. It's a
We not-
two-piece. It's a two-piece.
I'm
Like,
not.
look, we're not doing this. You are not going to sit here and lie to these good people on YouTube. That's not what we're doing.
I'm not.
We're not doing it. We're not
I'm
doing
not
it.
going after that jit. She got on her little homecoming dress. She got her fur. Her mama in the video. If that's not her mama, then it looked like her mama because apparently Lane got her tight. But either way, they look like they could be mother and daughter. But either way,
Probably
he
about
got
the
his
same
ass
age as
kicked.
this type.
He got his. Nope, I'm leaving that alone. That's what it was. Lane Kiffin, you learned real quick because here's what you did, Lane Kiffin. Here's what you did. Not only did you get all the hype, so you got all the money, you got all of the transfer portal players, you had all of the momentum behind you to get out of that sorry ass, never gonna win shit ass program that you got there in Oxford, and you squandered that opportunity. You squandered it. You lost 3 times. You squandered the opportunity so bad. You had the University of Florida Shamesville fans openly saying, let's build it, let's get this money together to get Billy ass the fuck up out of here so we can go get that dude from Ole Miss to come in here and put these points up on the board. You had the Tiny Hat CEO on this here program saying, I don't want to see him in Florida because he's going to put up points and he is going to recruit his ass off, right? You had me sitting here lying for you. And then you went out there and lost 3 games. And then you went out there and did this shit. And now
And
the
they kept
University of
Billy.
Florida fans, not only are they happy that they have Billy Napier still, they are actively deleting tweets about them fawning all over your ass. Okay, you have Shamesville fans deleting tweets right now. That's how much you fumbled the bag out here. So I don't want to hear shit out of you.
No, and the other thing I can tell you is if Florida had fired Billy Napier, which they were fully planning on doing, that would have been their hire. And let me tell you something, the Kentucky loss, I think, wasn't it right after the Kentucky loss, they decided they put out a public tweet saying they were keeping Billy Napier?
Yep.
Y'all look on the timeline. I'm pretty sure that's exactly when it was. And I can guarantee y'all that's exactly who Florida was going to go after.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Lane Kiffin is now about to join Kirk in a crying booth on national TV because now he's stuck in damn Oxford, Mississippi. Have y'all ever been to Oxford, Mississippi? It'll be the last time you go. There's like a McDonald's on the corner. There might be a Pizza Hut. And then supposedly hot girls, but they're rich, they're annoying, and there's a bunch of Chads. That's all you get. That's it in Oxford.
Now
And
there's a
then they
bunch of
all
lanes.
leave Oxford and they go back home, usually to Memphis. That's usually where they all live. They don't just stay in Oxford, Mississippi because nobody does. And when you get to Oxford, this is the best part of Oxford, guys. Y'all pay attention. I live here. I deal with it. You drive up 98, right? You're passing over, you get to Mississippi. And There is a huge Confederate flag right outside Oxford, Mississippi. And it's the size of a billboard. If I'm lying, I'm dying. Every time I come back home from Florida, that's exactly what you see. And if you want to tell me that anybody wants to go play for that school, win them a trophy, do anything, those people are awful. Ole Miss fans are terrible. They are nothing but a bunch of rich fucks who are absolute losers in life. And all they do is go sit at the Grove, make themselves look rich. And they're not. They're usually siphoning money off anybody else. And it's one of the worst places on earth next to Knoxville. But that's a whole nother story for a whole nother day. There you go.
Lane Kiffin, you fucked that up, bro, and it's hilarious.
Oh, you're stuck.
I just need to know what that sauce is to get them boys to start deleting tweets, because one of the biggest Shamesville fans I know, shout out to Corey, aka Silk on the timeline. He was like, yeah, I don't know if I bring Lane here, bring Oxford here. And then he turned around and reversed that motherfucker and was like, nope, I don't know what you talking about. I don't want that, man. I reserve the right to have my opinions changed when new information come out. And I said that right there, ladies and gentlemen, is the easiest and fastest way to say we done fucked up, because we don't need that dude nowhere near our shit. I heard some Florida fan last night talk about some Lane Kiffin was never going to take the job because he didn't want to work under Strickland. I was like, you outside your fucking mind. Lane Kiffin would have took that job mid-season if they were like, hey, you can come over here.
Broken glass.
You could come up for the second and coach this team for the second half of the year. He would have walked off the job and went right into the offices of Florida and threw Billy shit all out on the ground, all out on the campus grounds if he could have coached that team for the last half of the year. The fuck out of here. I see R. Wilmer in the chat. He said, let me go back. He says, I remember that Mickey Mouse Network pushing that Lane was the portal king. What happened to the king? What happened to King fucked up? Now blaming others. You spot on, because it was all about Ole Miss this year. Is this Ole Miss's year? Can Ole Miss put it all together? Is this the year that they overcome and actually do something? And what did they do? They did exactly what they always do, which is shit the bed. They shit the bed. G, how'd you feel about Lane Kiffin when you saw him backtracking and disappear from the timeline after catching his work?
Oh, it's hilarious. It's just, just like the rest of these guys. They're standing at the top. Oh, look at this shitty game. Oh, yeah, riveting. And then just as soon as the same thing happens to an SEC team, whoop, that's it. It's like, at least he didn't continue to talk shit about Indiana afterwards. Like Kirk has the nerve, like literally with the score up there behind him. But yeah, to Jen's point, to see the epic downfall of Lane, that's kind of like a feather in my caps, because when everybody was all in, I was like, I don't see what you see in the guy. I don't think he's that great of a recruiter. I don't think he's this or whatever. So for Billy to go down there and stomp him, that shit was hilarious. You hate to see Florida get that momentum, but now Miami's lost their momentum. They can't get a transfer portal quarterback. Florida State's taking a tackle from Ole Miss, is what Jim Santi told me the other day. So I'm fired up.
I'm sorry. Did you say that Miami can't get a portal quarterback? Where did their top portal quarterback go? Did he announce for somewhere today? Because I was told
their third choice
over the weekend. I was told over the weekend that a 2-10 team fan didn't know ball when I said that kid was going to South Carolina. I'm just only saying this once. Maybe I'll say it twice. But guess where Aaron Nolan is going, guys? He's going to South Carolina.
SEC, USC East. USC East. And now this is my favorite part about all of this, because these Shames fans are hilarious. They're all over the timeline saying, oh, well, the quarterback that we're going to get a portal quarterback. Just wait. Our portal quarterback is still in the playoff. You not getting yours, bro. you not getting yours. I don't know why y'all think y'all getting yours. If Ewers is leaving Texas, right? If he's leaving Texas, first off, I don't think he's going to the league. But if Ewers is leaving Texas, he not leaving that state, bro. He not leaving that state. That is a Texas kid through and through. There is a team that is right down the road from Austin that is loaded up. They full of oil money. They are full of disappointment, anger, and upset, and they need to make a splash. And they would love nothing more than to take the prodigal son from their arch nemesis that don't even recognize him. They have been hoping and wishing and praying that they could get put on this team's schedule since 2011. And when you finally got a chance to play their ass, they beat you like a drum. They whooped your ass like a big brother does a little brother when he really think that his nuts none dropped and he want to try to play Street Fighter 2. And then you go out there and Hadouken his ass to death. And then he says you cheating because he don't know how to play the game. You thought you were going to walk your baby nuts around the block, Texas A&M, but you ain't even get to the end of the fucking road. That is where he is going to go. If Ewers leaves Texas, he is taking his ass to A&M because they are going to back up the Brinks truck so that they can hopefully beat Texas at their own game. He ain't coming to Miami, bro. He is not coming to Miami because let's be clear. Let's be clear. If I'm a top quarterback in the country, G, do this exercise with me, okay? I'm a top quarterback in the country. All right. I have my pick of where I want to go. There are three things that I want to look at. Number one is what this bread gonna look like. Number two, what is this offense gonna look like? And number three, what does me playing for your team do to help me? Right? That's what I'm looking at.
I talked about this a lot. When you're transferring or when you're in a position where a coordinator changes at your school and you're looking for somewhere to go, these kids aren't looking at what can I go and do for an offense. They're looking at what can an offense do for me? What can a team do for me? So Cam stepped up to a higher level of competition, with a decent team in Miami. That's what helped him.
Third choice, by the way. Third choice of the three options that he wanted. Third choice.
Yeah, so Luke, he thought that playing behind, he couldn't see himself playing behind Thomas Castellanos, so he went to Mississippi State. I don't know what they're going to do for him, but maybe the air raid he thinks can help him out better.
I mean, he'll get to do a repeat, run it back of a 2-win team, I guess. That'll be fun.
Oh man. Right. So let's say this. So let's say I am Quinn Ewers. I done got the bread from Texas. I done got my money. I've been on the biggest stage. Right.
One thing. Here's the thing about Miami. They just saw Cam Ward go in and literally play out of his mind, throw it all over, the perfect plug and play for Miami. And they saw what happened. And they saw the recruiting drop off, the portal drop off. So they're like, well, goddamn, I'm not going to be Cam Ward. So why would I go there? So
you telling me if I'm Quinn Ewers right now, I'm gonna play with an offensive minded coach that can.
Cam Ward.
Oh no, this is the best part about it because Quinn Ewers was with an offensive minded coach that is all about scheming some shit up, right? That's what he did. So he had that. Is he gonna get that in Miami? Oh, okay. The second thing, the bread, the money's there. Where he got the money, is he gonna get the money in Miami? Yeah, he'll get money. He can get money in Miami. That's cool. Okay. But if I do well at your program, is that going to accentuate me? Am I going to be playing for something? Well, we just saw the number one, as they like to say, the number one quarterback in college football, right? Heisman candidate quarterback, right? Number one offense in all of college football. This is what we heard, right? And what does he get for all of that hard work, all of the praise and glaze that ESPN and every other player, every other analyst out here said for him all season long? What did he get for it? He gets a Brand Smart toaster. That's what he can get. He gets a Brand Smart Black Friday discounted appliance. That's the best he could play for because he ain't getting no hardware. He couldn't even get to the game to get to the hardware. So he's going to play for some breakfast pastries that are going to be cooked in front of the world in a Brand Smart appliance that you can get for $19.99. That's what he's doing right now. So if I'm Quinn Ewers, why would I go there? Makes zero sense. Oh, he could play in the ACC with that team. That don't mean
who gives a shit.
That don't mean you're gonna win shit. That team next year already has 6. I count them 6 automatic losses on that schedule next season alone. 6 of them. Right. I had a Hurricanes fan in the space last night who was talking wild reckless. I'm like, bro, I can run down this list. I said, oh, okay, well, let's look at your schedule because y'all got 6 L's coming to you. And the very first thing that I said to him was, oh, Notre Dame, that's an L. The second L that you're going to have is Florida. He completely just flew right by the first L and said, wait, who is that second L to? Who is the second L? They already know that Notre Dame is about to run down on that bullshit they got there. And yes, y'all going to lose to Florida next year. They're going to get the get back because it's going to be hilarious. You're going to lose to us next year. We putting belt to ass to that bullshit. That's 3. That's 3 right there. You're going to lose to Virginia Tech probably. You're going to lose. Who else did they have on
this year?
I mean, you damn should almost lost out this year. The only wins that I saw on Miami schedule that were guaranteed was Stanford. Like it was Stanford, some USF, and one other sorry ass school that they played on their schedule, and that was it. Everything else was either a toss up or an L. Y'all gonna lose to Syracuse again next year, and I think that's gonna be hilarious as well. It's gonna be fantastic. So if y'all think y'all finna get Ewers, because they first told us that they were gonna get Air Nolan, right? Air Nolan is in South Carolina. Now they telling us they're gonna get Ewers. Now they telling us they're gonna get this player, that player. But all we heard was that y'all got development. We heard development. Oh, you can't go in the portal. G, run down them numbers again. How many of their players, their 5-star, 4-star blue chip players, have they lost from their last 3 recruiting classes?
I believe it's 80% of the 22 class and then like 40% of the 23 class. Their top 5 classes are pretty much, in the wind, and they're replacing all these guys with portal guys. It's pretty funny.
And again, that's the other thing I was going to say is, who are they replacing them with? Are these portal players? Because I was told that they did nothing but develop high school players to start, and they didn't recruit over the high school players for portal players. Isn't that what we were told? Is that what we were told?
For 2 solid years, it was, Florida State, y'all are just mercenaries. We play true freshmen, most true freshman snaps in 2022. 2023, we're going to do this and do that. 2024, what they do, they fucking got everybody they could possibly grab out of the portal to make a run, and they came up short. And now what they have, the 15th ranked recruiting class coming off of 10 wins and the Davey O'Brien Award winner. No conference championship, no nothing. It's going to be really bad, and that's why they're so desperate for a quarterback, because if they don't get a quarterback, that's an 7-8 win team. There's a chance.
They lost the Hogwarts champion, didn't they?
What's that?
They lost the Hogwarts champion, didn't they? Poofenflogger or whatever. Right?
I think Poofenberger, I think did hit the portal. Yes.
That man went out and tried to win the Tri-Wizard Cup and lost, and then decided to hit that portal. And I don't understand what is going on. And you've got Miami fans going like, with their one-armed quarterback, they're like, oh, Emory Williams this. Isaiah Horton just left you and is now going to play for Alabama for something relevant.
They think Emory Williams is going to be like the rookie, or is it the rookie where the kid breaks his arm? And then after he breaks his arm, he can throw 108 miles an hour. I think that's what they're hoping for Emory Williams.
Okay.
Not sure how that's going to work out for him. Milton High native. Hopefully,
I think this could be, and I mean this in the nicest way possible, maybe sort of. I mean, it is Christmas. I'm just saying. But I think this is a make or break year this year for Mario Cristobal, to be fair. They're paying far too much for all of his Victoria's Secret coupons. They're paying far too much for his new loafers. They're paying far too much for mid. Like, what are y'all doing? And you have nothing.
Zero. As
Who
Jay-Z
is your quarterback? And do not come tell me it's going to be Quinn Ewers. If it is, you're going to get a sorry-ass Quinn Ewers. And by the way, if anybody knows who's around Quinn Ewers, there is no way in God's green hell they're allowing him to go play for Mario Cristobal. It's just not happening. It's not happening. And by the way, I think that Texas, now that they beat Clemson, I think they're going to beat Penn State. I do. Surprisingly, I actually do pick Texas over Penn State. And if he plays well, that kid's going to the NFL anyway. Because all he needs as an SEC quarterback, y'all tell me if I'm wrong, is 2 good games in a playoff. It'll be fine. He'll go to the NFL, probably get drafted 2nd round, and go. That's it. And going to Miami will just hurt him. I mean, seriously. Let's be for real.
Yeah. I mean, first off, Texas ain't going to ever play Penn State because I got Penn State losing.
Wait, who is – I'm sorry. I thought they were playing Penn State.
Arizona State. See, and this is what I wanted to get with it, but you're spot on with what you're saying, because I truly don't think Ewers is going there either. I don't think that it would be smart for him to go there. If anything, if I'm Ewers, I'd probably go. The chat wild. And this man said Quinn Ewers might be a she-male. Come on, dog. Like, what are we doing here? What are we doing? If I'm Ewers, I go find me an offensive-minded coach that has a track record of putting putting players around him and can scheme some shit up. And unfortunately, even though we see it this year with Miami, unless you have somebody like Cam Moore who can dance, boogie, and move around and extend plays the way that he did this year, but in that offense that we saw from Miami, you're not going to get that down there. I think that team regresses. Like I said, I think they have 6 L's next season. All of them claiming, Mario's third year, he won 10 games, and now we should go take the next step. Well, Mike Norvell, after he won 10 games, he went undefeated, won the ACC. That's what Mike Norvell did. Mario's got the bread behind him, right? Mario's got all of the recruiting behind him, right? Mario's got everything that he would need, right? He got his choice of OC. He got his choice of DC. He's getting everything that he wants down there. You go into the Pop-Tart Bowl, right? You got all of that. And he's still going to regress next year. Y'all not going to win 10 games next year. Y'all not going to win 9. Y'all going to lose 6 games next season. I'm calling it right now. And y'all going to be pissed off yet again because he's going to drop a game. Y'all going to struggle with USF or some bullshit like that. And you're going to be mad as hell when it happens. And I can't wait for it. But you touched on something there that I want to get into before we get out of here, is the playoff itself, right? So let's actually talk football. Let's talk football at the end of this thing. We already dunked on Kirk Herbstreit punk ass, right? We already dunked on Lane Kiffin stupid ass. And we already got our shames takes off because them boys wild ass out here. So the playoff itself, right? Everybody's mad because you see blowouts. But I saw something that said something like 15 or 16 of the 30 games in the 14 playoff era were blowouts. So you used to blowouts. They just mad because these first rounds are blowouts. But what we're going to see now is this next round that's coming up. Correct me if I'm wrong, but y'all tell me if y'all could hear a blowout of any of these games that we're looking at here. Texas, Arizona State. That a blowout?
Yeah.
Blowout coming? Oh, okay. Ohio State, Oregon.
I said maybe. No, I don't see that as a blowout. No.
That should be pretty good.
Yeah, could be. But guess what you're going to see? You're going to see 2 high-powered offenses putting 40 points up on each other. Right? That's probably what it's going to be again, because we already saw this game. But okay, we'll see. Penn State, Boise State.
Yes.
Blowout coming?
I said
That's an enigma for me. I don't know.
That's a blowout coming.
It's going to be a damn back and forth thing where Boise State comes out at the end, or Boise State will get blown out. It's just.
I think you could look at the Boise State kid looking like he was
Oregon, like it makes me wonder because they only lost to Oregon by 3 points.
I mean,
That's
you
true.
could say that, but I don't think Oregon took them seriously. I truly don't. I'll tell you this right now. If they play Oregon again right now, does that game go the same way?
Well, I mean, Penn State was played last week, so it's not like they have. When's the next game?
I think it's this weekend, if I'm not mistaken. Is it this weekend?
God, how many
time to prepare? But
they're gonna drag this shit on for as long as they can suck the money out of it.
So it's December 31st and January 1st. So not this weekend. I believe that's the following weekend, which is also stupid, but whatever. Yeah, so it's not this weekend. Oh no, it's next week, Tuesday and Wednesday.
Yeah, I was about to say it sounds like it's the middle of the week. Yeah, so they get 10 days to prepare instead of 7 days.
Right.
Not a ton of time.
And then Notre Dame, Georgia.
Running the football this time of year just
I think that's a blowout.
Yeah, Notre Dame, Georgia.
I think it's a blowout. I think it's another blowout. I'm sorry. If somebody, again, I have rules about the NCAA tournament and the playoffs. If Notre Dame's in it, pick the other team and pick whatever the point spread is and just determine it, because Notre Dame does nothing but choke in big games. That's what they do. They're known for it. And again, y'all can cancel me if you want to, but if you have that many white guys on defense, please see Clemson on Saturday. What the hell? Why does Clemson have white DBs? Did y'all see this?
Hey, they said it's the Renaissance. It's the Renaissance for the white boys on defense,
Look,
man.
there's no damn Renaissance or nothing. Get the hell off the like. What is going on here? And by the way, Notre Dame doesn't even have any Polynesians really on there anymore. Get out. And their head coach, whatever drawn on hairline you've got going on, nobody's buying it. You're gonna lose too. Sorry, Marcus Freeman.
That boy got that insurance fraud. But I see Canes for Life with the 9.99 super chat. Shout out to Canes for Life. Says Tiny Hat and Jen just jumped on. I like the fact that y'all call BS on any team, including your own team, when it's call for me. I'm gonna need you to get that hooked on phonics, Playboy. Like the show, even though we respect different brands. And then he put that bullshit ass University of Miami logo up there. Well, hey, listen, you know, love it, Canes for Life. I'm glad you're pulling up here. Your wife is always beautiful in that. I will say this though, in regards to the team that you try to root for.
Yikes.
Y'all niggas playing for Pop-Tarts. The boys playing for Pop-Tarts, dog.
They signing kick returners. We signing Deuce Robinson, 6'6", 220, coming in here.
The boys on the timeline was bragging about signing a long snapper. Y'all boys got and then somebody had the audacity when I was harassing them. I'm like, bro, y'all signed a long snapper. You out here bragging. The man goes, well, every team need long snappers. I said, get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. Y'all need to get your ass out of here. He smiles.
I'm with you, T Smiles. Yeah, you know, I'm not going to predict Notre Dame to do nothing, but I'm definitely pulling for those guys. I'm praying for them to win. And, you know, Will Compton's been out here making all these years the white boy defense and all that shit videos. So we'll see if Notre Dame can put something together out there. But
Will Compton. You know what? No. White DB. Listen, I don't have a problem with white DBs. All right. Jason Sehorn was a nice little white DB.
Cooper DeJean's out there. You know, he's
what year? What year? We're not doing this.
This year.
We are not doing
one of the best corners in the league.
He just said Jason Sehorn. That man was married to.
We got Cooper DeJean.
No. And they just lost. Okay, look. Jason Sehorn played for the Giants and he was married to Angie Harmon when she was on Law and Order. That was like in 1998. Let's stop pretending here. Okay? We're not doing this. We're not doing it. We're not doing it.
That was before Law and Order SVU even came on TV. Hey, listen. Jason Sehorn was out here. Listen,
that was the original Law and Order. She started on the original one and then went on SVU.
Damn, bro. Jen out here hating on the white DBs out here.
Why not? We like to win games, not lose them, and have the white DBs going, what just happened? Stop it.
Hey, listen,
stop.
All you got to do is blame Iowa. This is Iowa. This is Kirk Ferentz's fault, all right? Because
everything is Kirk Ferentz's fault.
It is his fault because he's the one out here telling all the white kids, hey, listen, we saw Wes Welker, we saw Julian Edelman. We saw all of the little white receivers, the speedy receivers are getting all the love. Why you can't go out there and guard somebody? Why
and
you can't
all
go
of
out
them
there
played for Clemson, didn't they? All of them.
That's what he told him. He's like, you can go out there and break up a pass too. You can't do that. And the white boys was like, yeah, I am athletic. It is 2024. I can get out here on the field and break up a pass. That's what he
told them. They can go to church with Dabo. That's what he told them.
You can do whatever you set your mind to, baby. And they got a whole bunch of white DBs coming out of the woodwork. Now, I will say this. I bet not ever see a white DB on my squad.
No.
Not on my squad. But I'm not going to hate on them. If the boys can get out there with their John B. connecting beard, you know, singing songs, I'm not going to hate on them.
Y'all got it all fucked up, man. It's like you don't get to be a white corner on one of these teams unless you're a fucking beast.
You gotta be
and when you are that unicorn to get in that position, it's great for the culture. It's great for everybody. So that's all I'm saying.
Did you see what happened to those white DBs versus Texas? We're not doing this. Those white DBs were sitting there versus Texas on Saturday going, what happened here? Their money isn't getting laundered through the church anymore of Dabo. Okay? It's not happening.
I'm not talking about the walk-on from Clemson. I'm talking about the good ones.
That's what I was talking about on Saturday.
We're talking about Notre Dame and fucking Cooper DeJean and these guys. I'm with you. You. Clemson sucks. They were terrible this year.
Hey, T-Smile says, George, abort. You ain't winning this one.
No.
I got to carry my water for my white DBs. Come on, man.
No. Stop. And, don't do it. It's not worth – no. We're not doing it. We're just not
We're
doing
going to find out. We're going to see what Notre Dame can do against Georgia's backup quarterback.
I did not my head on. I'm over here crying, laughing at this bullshit. Oh my god.
it. Hey,
That boy
you're
George,
the one who told me to go in on the white players.
that boy
I'm just
George
saying.
said he got a cape for his white DB. You fight for your white DBs, George. You go ahead. You got your snow foxes out there doing work in the secondary. You go ahead.
All I'm saying is those white DBs were sitting there on the field going, what just happened here? And they're still there going like, where's my mom? You know, Dabo even put on his best sweatshirt. His mom put his name in the back of it with a Sharpie, all the things, you know, all the things. And he came down there looking for church, and then he had his white DBs and his white wide receivers, and he was like, what happened? I can tell you what happened. You got rolled. And by the way, it was the closest game, which is very sad. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh man. I'm over here crying. I see K's for Life with another $9.99 super chat. Said, Jim, my wife is bragging on her Auburn Tigers having a #1 portal class. Tiny Hat, let her know Auburn is still trash. Hey, Mrs.
I
K's
got
for Life.
this.
Mrs. K's for Life. Go ahead, Jen. Get your
I
shit
got
on.
this. Look, Auburn, by the way, Hugh Freeze, look, your class is going to fall apart because at some point this man is going to get another cell phone and then start typing into his cell phone, start getting on websites. He will get kicked off of said websites, and everybody will leave Auburn. We know it, you know it, and all Auburn fans knows it. And by the way, they're like, you cannot have the bad karma that Auburn fans have because they ruined Brian Harson's career, faked an absolute bullshit affair, said he was doing all the things, and fired him for cause, saying he was a morality clause, and hired Hugh Freeze. The karma that is going to come to that school and their fan base, you need to tell your wife, step back, enjoy, put down the phone, don't do this anymore, because Auburn, by the way, that's going to be some incoming shit that we don't ever want to see. And by the way, we saw it this year. They suck. They sucked.
Listen,
there you go.
Mrs. K's for Life. I'm gonna tell you this right now. All you need to look at is all of the players that they done took in the portal. It's all the players from Alabama. That's all they got, right? So your best
and
players
Georgia Tech.
And Georgia Tech. All of your best players are coming from your hated rival. I honestly think y'all still gonna be pure and utter ass, and that's just what it is. All right, you don't have
it's God.
You don't have to.
It's God. Look, y'all ruined it. They ruined a good man's career, and I think it was gross, and that's fine because they claimed he was sleeping with other women and hired Hugh Freeze, who was fired for screwing prostitutes. Are we joking ourselves? I just again, okay. Maybe that's just me.
Yo, we got big lies going on in the chat. Boy saying Scatterbo would look great in this Gus Malzahn offense. Boy saying Scatterbo to FSU. Yo, the chat.
No.
Hey, chat, I'm leading that charge, baby. Let's go ahead. Let's keep getting these lies off. Get all these lies off. He's not going to be on this squad. We got too much talent in that running back room.
Oh, my God. Wait a minute. Hold on.
Fuck
wait a
that.
minute.
He'd immediately, no, fuck that. He's not going to come, but he'd immediately be the best running back in that running back room.
No, for sure.
What? You crazy? What? Dude is a fucking borderline Heisman candidate. Who do we got that's better than Cam Scatterbo?
Hold on. You telling me if Scatterbo transferred to Florida State, he's starting at running back?
Immediately. The fuck?
Is this a white DB take? Is that what this is?
This running back is starting over him at Florida State. We ain't got one with 300 fucking yards. What you talking about?
Let's get Scatterbo on my squad.
Who's made Chroma? Like maybe he I think he's our dark horse to maybe become a starter by the end of the year. Cam Davis showed some flashes.
But it's not
make no mistake, Cam Scatterbo is better than any fucking thing we got. Yes.
Let's go, G. Redeem yourself. You ain't fight hard enough for the white DBs.
And I made a video that we had the deepest running back in the room before the season. Okay, I was wrong. It was deep full of men.
Fight for the old white running backs, Playboy. Now you definitely right. You definitely right. But I thought that was hilarious. I saw somebody said that the white DBs getting affirmative action, and I that's why I was
funny. Yeah, we can't have affirmative action white DBs. That's what's going on at Clemson. They have to earn their fucking spot. If they earn their spot, they're there for a reason. No, I'm with you. Like, it's been a long time since Peyton Hillis. That shit was like a decade ago. So, Gadaboo.
What I watched with those DBs versus Texas offense that has struggled all year was ridiculous. Those white DBs were standing there.
Oh, God. Back on the white DBs again.
Let's go.
Look, they were standing there not understanding the assignment at all because they couldn't keep up. They were sitting there going, Dabo told us that the church was going to give us our money today. You are getting your money from the South Carolina Church of Christ or whatever it is that he funnels the money through. It's not my fault. I didn't make the rules, but y'all lost.
Oh my God. T Smile said, clip this up. George needs to use this on his dating profile to prove how loyal he is. Hey, real talk. That is the funniest shit somebody has said in this chat.
Oh my God. I almost choked. Don't do that to me.
Listen, we out here wilding. We wilding. But okay, so of this next round, to get back to football. All right, so we all got Texas beating Arizona State, even though all of us are pulling for Arizona State to win, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, Oregon, Ohio State. How y'all calling this?
I say Ohio State.
G, who you got?
I don't know.
Let's go. G said he ain't up there yet.
Oregon.
We all got Penn State.
Point flip. I don't know. This depends. If Ohio State wins, it'll be close. There's a chance Oregon can blow them out. That's kind of how I see it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And then we got Notre Dame, Georgia. Honestly, I truly don't give a damn. I hate Notre Dame. I hate
both. Can they both lose?
I can't stand Georgia, but I can respect it. I hate Notre Dame. So
I just need the SEC teams lose just so Herbstreit and them have to fucking scramble.
It's just not going to happen.
I would love nothing better than the SEC to lose the two games that they got in this next round. So then you have a Big 12 team, a Big 10 team, either a Big 10 team or a Mountain West team, and then an independent. I would absolutely love it. But all of this is for naught. Before we get up out of here, I will say this, because next season, what they're probably going to do to adjust this thing is they're going to eliminate the automatic first round bye to the conference champions. They're probably just going to rank all 12 teams, and then wherever they slot, then they'll have the 4 best teams get the byes. Whether you're a conference champion or not, you just automatically get in, but they're going to slot you wherever. That's probably what they're going to do. And then in 2 years, they're going to go to 14 people. And it's going to be,
please.
They're going to go to 14.
They're going to go to 16. They're going to go to 16.
Nope, they're gonna go to 14 teams.
Okay.
And they're gonna give 2 teams an automatic bye, and then you will have 12 teams playing each other from there. That's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen. And when they do that, they're going to try their damnedest to make sure that it is 4 SEC schools, 4 Big 10 schools. You get the 1 ACC, the 1 Big 12. You get the 1 G5, and that puts you with your 12 teams. That's your 14 teams right there. That's what they're going to do. Oh, and the 1 ACC school. That's what they're going to do. It's going to be 4-4, and then maybe 1-1-1 or 4-4-2-1-1-1, something like that. That's what they're going to do, and it's going to come from there. So before we get out of here, y'all want to get one more thing off? Any more takes that y'all want to get off before we? This shit was hilarious. I'm over here crying. I can't even see straight. I'm over here laughing at this nonsense.
If y'all ain't got anything else to roast, we could give them a little bit of portal update before we leave.
Let's get it, G. Give us all of that FSU update, baby, because I'm about to get these lies off one more time before we get out of here. So let us know what our squad is out doing.
Well, me, Jen, and Rob went on the show Friday and basically called our shot. Told everybody who the top 4 guys were. It was Deontay McCray, it was Adrian Medley, it was Deuce Robinson, it was Micah Pettis. Well, Deontay McCray freaking literally committed halfway through the show. Adrian Medley, we all agreed was a lock. He committed later on. Left guard, so you get your starting left guard. You get a starting defensive end for that front. He's 283 pounds. a guy with a ton of production, 8 tackles for loss, 3.5 sacks, 6'4", redshirt junior. He's the 4th-year player. That's all great. The big guy, though, is Micah Pettis. He's an offensive tackle from Ole Miss, which would be a steal from them. He's 6'7", 350 pounds. He's a 5th-year player, a ton of experience. He was a freshman All-American, started 9 games in 23, started 11 games last year, and he's just a giant person that Florida State hasn't had in a while. Jen, I think, called her shot on that show, but that's the next guy to look for to commit. But Jen, is you still feeling that way? Is Pettis a Knoll? And I want to know what you two guys think of Deuce, because I'm fired up about Deuce. And this portal class overall, how they hit it.
Well, yes, I think he's a no. And I thought he was a no on Friday. I think he was a no on Saturday. And I think he's a no today. And yeah. So I think people are going to be really happy. So there you go. And I also think, hey, for anybody freaking out for the Bulls kid committing to Michigan, the Bulls kid was the replacement because, yes, Blake Nicholson was thinking about leaving. That was going to be the replacement. He's decided to stay. So y'all need to stop panicking because you lose a portal player who visited. The reason you lost him is that was the Nicholson replacement. That's all I'm going to say.
Right. And people are asking about the Rice offensive tackle, who's also like 6'8", 345 pounds. That was, if you don't get Pettis. Okay, now Pettis isn't in the boat, but Jens gave him the crystal ball. A couple people on our beat has now Pete Nakos, who doesn't. He's one of those people that doesn't wait till the second before. When Pete Nakos puts it in, usually, he's hedging his bets. It's pretty close. He's supposed to commit tomorrow. So yeah, don't worry about that guy. Keegan Cross is another offensive tackle who they were after, but when things start looking good with Pettis, I'm imagining he was crystal balled somewhere, just like the Rice offensive tackle. I believe he's crystal balled now to Ohio State. Randy Pittman Jr. is another guy that hit since we did the show Friday, kind of out of the blue.
I was wrong about him.
Yeah, it happens. I mean, it's not rare that they visit early, go away for a while, and commit. So to get Randy Pittman Jr. in at tight end, that's another big get. I believe we're up to 9 guys, and the portals, it's cooking for the Noles, but that's the big one, that offensive tackle. I mean, if you land Micah Pettis from Ole Miss,
what is going
Gunnar
on?
Harsin, who everybody was worried about, the offensive tackle from Vanderbilt, everybody's freaking out. Oh, they haven't announced it. They haven't announced it. Well, he was just getting his transcripts, so he's official. If you could get Pettis, you literally bring in bookend tackles to completely revitalize the offensive line. You've got your left guard, and then even if I think they'll still bring in a couple offensive linemen, but of what you have left, you have serviceable pieces in Richie Leonard, Jalen Early, Jacob Rizzi. You've got enough to put together a line to what Gus is going to ask you to do. Herb Hand, it's going to be a lot more simple, downhill running. That's what it's all about. And that's the big thing about Pettis. He's not perfect. He's not the most athletic guy in the world, but he's a road grader, and he'll pancake motherfuckers. And that's what we're going to be doing now. Is that a shiesty, or what do we got going on here?
So what you're telling me is,
I'm wondering if he's going to rob me.
So what you're telling me is my staff is out here loading me up with talent. My staff is out here getting me dogs. My staff is out here ready to run down on some shit. I told y'all all season long, baby. I'm the line out here. 10 games, baby. Florida State is about to take the ACC. You see us running down and running up on everything in the portal that's worth talking about. We doing absolute work out here, bro. Come on over here. Come on to death row. All right, my D-line coach told y'all, come to death row. If you want to go play for a team where your coach ain't all in the videos, your coordinators ain't all on the tracks. If you want to come out here and get some shine, come to death row, baby. All right, you can join the Tiny Hat CEO with the rest of SEAL Team 6, with the rest of the Tiny Hat SEAL Team 6 out here, baby. We are running down on shit next year. Florida State all day, every day. You heard it right here first on the Renegade Roast. Shout out to everybody in the chat for pulling up. This is absolutely fun. Shout out to everybody on Twitter who's watching this. Please come on over to YouTube. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. Come on out here if you ready. Shout out to my boy George. You can find him on the Renegade Rundown with my beautiful co-host, the FSU Harley Quinn, Jen Santi. And shout out to everybody in Knoll Nation. All right, we running down on that shit, just like we ran down on Kirk Herbstreit punk ass last year, just like we running down on the committee asses every week, just like we running down on that bullshit they got down there in Coral Gables and that bullshit they got up there in Shamesville. Come to Florida State, where you can go out here and get this bang, baby. Let's go. Tiny Hat Gang, we out. Go Noles.
Merry Christmas.
We out of here, man. Go Noles.
That I hope next year the committee won't get caught up in what the social media and a lot of people who are fringe fans get caught up in, which is wins. They had 11 wins. They must be good. Who did they beat? I think is much more important than how many wins you have. That's old school way of.
Oh yeah, if y'all listening, watch out for Josh Farmer. He may come back too. Thank y'all for joining the Renegade Roast. We'll see you guys next week. Please.
Remember,